And so I've got some bona fides here on being fair. The movie was absolutely terrible.
A video of herself in a theater. Maybe I think she bought that ticket right there.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about
she's gonna die.
true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Hollywood's a place where dreams get made, but sometimes those dreams turn into screaming matches and box office disasters. Disney's Snow White remake was supposed to be a dazzling reboot of a fairy tale classic, but instead it's spiraling into one of the wildest controversies Tinseltown's seen in years. Rumor has it, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, the film's leading ladies, are locked in a feud so nasty it's threatening to tank the whole project. Oh, and there's talk of a $100 million defamation lawsuit floating around too. With the movie's release on March 21st, 2025, bombing harder than anyone expected, the question is, did this Clash of Titans doom Snow White from the start? Let's dive into this mess and figure out what's really going on, because this drama is juicier than anything on screen.
Look at this. Look at this face. What can be said about this level of narcissism here?
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
Ugh.
Come on.
Go get Cheshire Cat.
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
First, let's set the stage. Snow White hit theaters with a thud, pulling in just $43 million domestically against a budget that ballooned past $270 million. Some whisper it's closer to $350 million with marketing. Critics called it a hollow shell, fans didn't show up, and the vibe was less whistle while you work and more run for the hills. But the real story isn't
cheering for herself.
The trouble kicked off when Zegler started talking. She didn't just hype the film, she took a wrecking ball to the 1937 original, calling it dated and creepy. The prince stalks her, super weird, she said, promising a Snow White who's all about leadership, not some damsel pining for love. Classic Disney fans lost their minds, accusing her of spitting on a masterpiece. Then, in August 2024, she tweeted "Free Palestine" after the trailer dropped, tying it to the film's 120 million views. That lit a match. Some cheered her boldness, others raged she'd cursed the project. Meanwhile, Gadot, an Israeli ex-IDF soldier who's loud and proud about her roots, started getting death threats. Disney scrambled, beefing up her security and begging Zegler to delete the post. She didn't budge. The rift was official, and it was about to get uglier.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Yeah. Production was already a train wreck before the tweets. Costs soared. Reshoots, new costumes, redesigned sets, pushing the budget into the stratosphere. Test audiences hated early cuts, saying Zegler and Gadot had zero chemistry, like they couldn't stand each other. Crew insiders spilled that their off-screen chill bled into every scene. Those epic queen-princess showdowns felt flat, not fiery. Disney threw cash at CGI and songs, hoping to dazzle away the flaws, but it didn't work. Viewers left screenings shrugging, not enchanted. Then came the photo shoot that blew the lid off everything. Picture this: Zegler in her Snow White gown, Gadot in Evil Queen Black, and the airs so tense you could cut it with a dwarven axe. Sources say Zegler kept stalling, fixing hair, tweaking makeup, until Gadot snapped, muttering about wasted time. Zegler fired back, accusing Gadot of dragging politics into a fairy tale. Gadot shot it down, saying Zegler's attitude was the real poison. Shouts flew, Zegler stormed off, and the crew just stood there. Jaws dropped. That's when the rumors hit fever pitch.
In the greatest Disney box office bomb in the history of Disney live-action remakes, but certainly also the end of her career.
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced, it was a huge...
You mean your guess is as good as mine,
ethnicity?
ethnicity?
Trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
Here's the kicker. Word's leaking that Zegler's camp is prepping a $100 million defamation lawsuit against Gadot. The claim? Gadot allegedly trashed her behind closed doors. Think industry dinners, private chats, calling her a bratty newbie who sank the film. Zegler's team says it trashed her rep right as she's building a name. No papers are filed yet, so it's all whispers, but loud ones. Some think it's Zegler dodging blame for the flop. Others say Gadot's too slick to sling mud like that. Either way, it's got Hollywood buzzing. And then Jonah Platt, son of producer Mark Platt, jumped in, torching Zegler on X in late March 2025. She dragged her politics into promo and tanked the box office. He raged, blaming her for the film's catastrophic failure. Fans split hard. Zegler's crew hailed her guts. Gadot's praised her class. Online, it's a bloodbath, and Disney's stuck holding the bag.
The bliss of total stupidity and narcissism. Look at the bliss. On some level, it's got to be a blessing to just be so smooth-brained.
It was this
people that we
awakening
need to educate, the people that we need to love into awareness.
love them in the right direction.
Yeah, because there's nothing more effective than 19-year-olds educating the rest of the voting public while yelling, "Okay, boomer."
The studio's in full panic mode now. They slashed the premiere to a photo op, no press, no questions, and kept Zegler and Gadot apart like feuding siblings. Promotional gigs got axed left and right, canceled talk shows, scaled back junkets, anything to avoid more blowups. Zegler's next move is Evita in London, but this mess could spook big studios from betting on her. Gadot's already signing new deals, her star too bright to fade. The film might hit streaming early to cut losses, but the chatter's all about the feud, not the fairy tale. Critics panned it as a gorgeous dud. Those Snow White evil queen scenes? Stiff as a board, thanks to real life beef you can't edit out. And the production woes didn't help. CGI magical creatures replaced real dwarves after inclusivity flack, only to cost more and alienate fans. The script got hacked up to dodge Zegler's stalker prince rants, leaving a story that's more patchwork than magic.
And to not truly understand that it's over. She posted this. She was proud of it. Not another soul in the theater, which is why they can act up like this.
So where did it all go wrong? Let's rewind to Gadot's big moment, a glitzy event honoring her in early 2025. It was supposed to be a unity play, with both stars smiling for the cameras, but Zegler skipped it, reportedly fuming over political questions tied to Gadot's pro-Israel stance. Insiders say Disney begged her to show up. Project Harmony, sell the film. She refused, calling it a farce. Fans saw it as a snub. Gadot's camp called it petty. That boycott lit the fuse. Next thing you know, they're clashing at photo shoots, canceling joint appearances, and leaving Disney's PR team in shambles. Zegler doubled down online, framing the film as a moral lesson, not a love story, while Gadot stayed above the fray, her silence deafening. The disconnect was glaring, and it torched any hope of faking on-screen magic.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it, you have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
Not another human being in the theater. She's cheering at the sight of her own name.
The fallout's brutal. Early ticket sales tanked, worse than some of Disney's floppiest remakes. Loyalists who'd usually rush to see a classic reimagined stayed home, resentful of Zegler's jabs at the original and the non-stop drama. Analysts predict Snow White could be Disney's biggest live-action bomb ever, a $350 million lesson in how not to reboot a legend. Crew members, designers, effects wizards grumble their work's buried under the feud. Editing tried to stitch it together, but you can't fake chemistry when the stars won't even share a frame. Zegler's caught on video giggling in an empty theater, cheering her own name on screen. Narcissism or defiance? You decide. Meanwhile, Gadot's out there, cool as ever, letting Zegler take the heat.
These people, and this is the difference between a business owner or someone who does very well for themselves in the private sector to become wealthy. This person was born looking a certain way and has a God-given ability.
This is what theaters look like across the world. And it just keeps getting worse. The memes keep coming to life.
for a living. That's really what acting is, to pretend. They didn't earn it the same way, and so it comes with this entitlement.
The political angle's the real poison apple here. Zegler's pro-Palestine post clashed with Gadot's Israel pride, turning a fairy tale into a geopolitical slugfest. Disney tried to muzzle them. Zegler got a social media handler. Gadot got don't engage memos. But the damage was done. Every interview became a minefield, every tweet a grenade. Zegler's Trump rants, may his supporters never know peace, didn't help, alienating half the audience before the curtains even parted. Gadot kept it vague, but her ADL speech slamming pro-Palestine protests didn't exactly calm the waters. The studio wanted a united front, they got a civil war instead. And fans, they're picking sides faster than dwarves picking apples.
Rachel Zegler went to go see Snow White. What do you notice about the theater? There's no one. Rachel Zegler is sitting in an empty movie theater watching her movie, giggling hysterically and maniacally. I'm getting serial killer vibes. Yeah, people better be careful around Rachel Zegler is happily watching Snow White in an empty theater.
They had the whole dwarf midget issue where they decided they weren't going to have any midget actors, right? They were having DEI-inspired magical creatures to replace.
Yeah.
What's next? Disney's praying this blows over once the film fades from theaters. Probably sooner than later. Zegler's career's on a tightrope. Talent's there, but this fiasco could make her a risk. Gadot's Teflon, she'll glide to the next gig unscathed. The film's a cautionary tale. Personal beef, amplified by politics and social media, can sink even the shiniest ship. Snow White was meant to modernize a classic, not become a tabloid punchline. So what do you think? Did Zegler's big mouth bury it, or is Gadot hiding sharper claws? Drop your take below because this fairy tale's ending is still a total wild card.